So we, being a female character, are actually going to equip that and play with that for quite a bit. But however, the set, as you can see, not your best defense set ever. So why would you want to wear this set? Well, a few small advantages. Number one, the magic defense on it is actually quite good. Generally, you're just going to want to look at the armor, the bodysuit, and that will tell you the strengths of the set. And the set kind of adheres to the same statistics as the bodysuit. And the bodysuit just shows you the most prevalent. The magic defense being very high, and the lightning defense is good as well. So if you fear magic and lightning, this could be a great set for you. And if you want to remain lightweight, because this thing only weighs a pound, this is a very, very good set for you, where it weighs very little, gives you defenses to magic and lightning, not to fire though, which could be a big issue, because there is enough things in the game that do fire damage to make you timid of fire, as well as you can see on the right hand side, the bleed, poison, and curse resist, yay, not a big deal. There's not enough things that do that, although zero poise does kind of suck a whole lot. Or at least makes me unhappy. As for these defenses, yes, it stinks that you don't have... Pardon me, I just got the hiccups just this moment. It does suck that you don't have a whole lot of defense, but if you crank up your vitality, that's something you can easily balance out, and then you also don't have to crank up your endurance, needing to have the endurance to have the weight application covered. The weight application covered, listen to me, to meet the weight requirements. So if we scroll through right here, now you can see I only weigh 15 pounds, and 5 of that is from my sword alone. Just my sword is, 5 pounds, and my shield's probably 6 pounds from what I remember. So now we're well under our target weight, so now I don't have to soak a lot of points into endurance to increase my stamina and my equipment load. Now I can just focus a lot more points on my vitality, which might be a huge advantage. The other thing that a lot of people you will see online playing with this set for is actually the Crown of Dusk. Now, why would you want to equip this crown? Here you can see stated, as I stop drinking water, it increases the power and effect of the wearer's magic. However, you also take in increased magic damage. Now, from what I've read online, is that you will take an increased 20% damage from spells, but you also deal an additional 20%, and I believe the length of your spells is also increased by 20%. Don't quote me on that. Wiki spaces it, or wiki dot it. I just type in Dark Souls weapon list, and wiki dot or wiki spaces comes right up, and that's also where I've gotten most of my information from, just because it's fast and easy. So now our heal will heal for more, and our force will heal for more, as well as this armor suit actually kind of balances out. Remember that it has a high magic defense, so we're now, even though we take an additional 20% from magic damage, which I believe it is, we now will also resist that from this bodysuit, the leggings, and the gloves, to kind of counterbalance that out a little bit. And now we're also dressed like a beautiful lady, which I find to be a huge advantage. But enough of that, we still have not gotten to the boss of this area, so we are going to go take care of that. And thanks to this giant Balder side shield, and actually we will replace that for the moment. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of this Grass Crest shield, but it's for moments like this. If you need to run a very long distance, if you're familiar with the area, the Grass Crest shield can become a quick best friend for the fact that your stamina is going to degenerate at its same pace no matter what. But that stamina recovery is huge. That little bonus you get is enough to make me a very happy camper, very happy player. Because now I can just, it feels like it can just kind of infinitely run. Because now we just have to backtrack all the way up this hill. Ah. Dark Souls, why'd you make this area so big? There was another door that I didn't show off, and there is a reason for that, because we will be taking that door back after we finish off this area. Now, the side quest I just did of the Hydra and the Golem, for those of you following me, there is actually a huge... there's a ring that can make that whole... everything that I just did there a whole lot easier, and you can get it once you get to the gargoyles. Like, you don't even have to defeat the gargoyles, but if you can get up to the gargoyles, this will make things a lot smoother in general for you. Let's take off the shield because I don't like it. Boulder side shield, thank you. So here we're just doing a little bit of exploring. So here we can destroy the plants. And now if you're playing this online, that is actually what the chameleon spell will turn you into, is one of those plants. Not one of these guys, unfortunately. Ha! Take that, low boys. But they set up a cute little ambush for you here. But simple enough. And now note that these guys are dropping moss clumps, which I've not gone over yet in the game. Moss clumps will also be your best friend. They reduce poison buildup, and it also cures poison. The red ones do the same thing for bleeding, and then there is actually a separate moss clump for toxic, which we have yet to experience in the game. But very good to know that if you kill these bush people, or whatever they're supposed to be, that's what you get. So again, here are these stupid little tree things. They don't do anything. They are like minor physical barriers in the game. Nothing, you know, huge. They just don't let you pass. So, yep, that's all cutting them down does. Now, this is actually the next area. This is not where the boss of this area is, although this is what brings your attention. But because we have the Crest of Artorias, we will open up the door for later. I don't know how much later I'll be doing that, but probably not soon. Just because I don't have a shield that I like for that area. There's a different shield that I would like to use, which makes that area significantly easier. But the big thing you want to note is that over here is a wall, which is a fake wall, and for some reason it didn't make the noise, which greatly confused me, and I just sat there and paused. So we come here, we will access this bonfire, we will use up yet another humanity, because I've been dying frequently. But we're actually going to kindle this bonfire, because this is going to be kind of our new checkpoint bonfire. Because we're going to be using it for this boss area, as well as for the Crest of Artorias door that I just opened up. Now, a bunch of those spells that I bought, to also show that off, I didn't mean to get up. Attune Magics. First, again, we'll have to select up here at the top which attunement slot we wish to change. So at the moment, I'm going to replace Force. However, as I scroll down here, you'll notice that the intelligence requirement here is 14 on most of the things that Dusk of Ulasil offers, maybe everything. Everything she offers requires 14... Okay, sorry, I just confused myself because I'm looking at both screens at the same time. Yeah, because Cast Light looked like a miracle to me, and I was like, wait, what? But all those require 14 intelligence, which we do not have. And, ooh, Great Heal Exer only requires 14 faith. That is good to know. I might actually use that. So we're actually just going to keep those for now. And we're going to move on to the boss of this area, finally. Now, I actually never knew that this boss existed for a very long time, because the little passageway is here. It wasn't until I was multiplayering this with a friend that he was like, oh, the boss is over this way, and my mind was blown. Let's come down the path, and here is a nice little treasure for you to grab, but it turns out to be an ambush. Gotta love Dark Souls and the ambushes. Now, we're actually surrounded at the moment, which is why you see me backing up, and there are 3 of these bush people in here. And what you see is they generally have like a whip animation attack. And that's what I'm avoiding the most and just keep my shield up for. But they also have a grab animation, which is what that... Oh no, never mind. That's the grab animation. Where if you're standing too close, they will grab you, they'll jump on you and start biting you. It can be annoying if you have a low armor like I do, but if you're playing with heavy armor or that knight's armor that I showed you how to get, it will barely do anything to you. So we're going to traverse the white light, and first things first, I'm actually going to show off the 2 hidden paths in this area, not the direct way that you're supposed to go, which would be straight ahead. First things first, you turn to the right, and this tree is moving. It's very difficult to try to show somebody this in-game, because most people won't notice it. But this tree is moving. However, the tree will not attack you, so just go to town on it. Whatever weapon you so choose. Not a very difficult enemy, and when it dies, it produces a secret pathway behind it. But as we come down here, I'm actually going to play a little bit careful, because there is an enemy that I don't find to be very difficult. But it's this weird gecko creature that'll whip you with its tongue, which drops green moss clumps or blossoms, whatever they're called. And the way you're supposed to figure out about this area is that this tree spins, and there's a platform, I forget which one it is, but you can look down into this chasm from like a different area, and you'll see this tree spinning. And that's really your only hint, is that you come in here looking for, you know, like, hey, which tree is spinning? And eventually you find out that, you know, oh, there's this one tree that looks like it's really out of place. So that's really your only hint of how to get down here. Otherwise, you might not ever figure out how to get down here. Speaking of being down here, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot. There is a stairwell up, so we will be taking that. There's a giant dead body on the ground, and nothing else. So let's go explore the giant dead body. Now, when you get too close to him, he's going to arise, and also all these gecko things, or that's what I keep calling them, geckos, are going to come out of the water and try to attack you. I would encourage you to focus on the giant before the geckos. Obviously, oops, and that's why. He does about half your life whenever he hits you. However, the geckos are faster, so... Oh wow, they actually hurt too. But then again, I also have no vitality, which I'm not used to having so little in this area. Wow, he actually hit my shield, and the game allowed me to roll. Now, these giants are very easy if you get behind them. However, they are very resistant to slash damage, and as you can see, my piercing, darn it, is not doing a whole lot of damage to them either. Is that a gecko sneaking up on me? No, that's a dead body. However, they have a very low vitality, so they're not very impressive, and evidently they're worth 600 souls. I was not aware that they were worth that much. They could be a good grinding thing, because there's another area you can go, and there's about 4 of them that you can grind off of. So, if you're looking for a good early spot in the game to grind souls off of, or if you're trying to buy all of Dusk's spells and you didn't save up that 5,000 like I was very handsomely rewarded with when I did some co-op, but I was also playing it in the New Game Plus, so it was not easy. It took a lot of patience and a lot of backstabs. But make sure to come back here and get that Proud Knight Soul. But if you need to grind, those giant stone things are great to grind off of, apparently. I did not realize they were worth 600 souls. And I don't find them that challenging. They do have one thing that makes them very challenging. But until they do that, I'm not going to spoil the surprise. And I don't think my force is going to actually do anything to them, but we'll test out and see if it does. Nope, it is not doing a single thing to him at all, so I'm no longer going to depend on my force. And this is also the reason, guys, I like having a big heavy shield. There it is. He is casting a miracle at the moment called the Tranquil Walk of Peace. Now, if you notice, my movement speed is heavily encumbered. I can now only walk. I can't run or anything. It's a great miracle for big, heavy armor builds, is that it forces your opponent to walk when they're in a certain range of you. However, they do have to get within a certain range of you, and the duration's only about like 20 seconds. But here you get the Wolf Ring, which, since we don't have any other ring on, we're actually going to equip that, and that boosts our poise. So at the moment we have 0 poise, now we're going up to 40 poise. Very nice little thing to have, and we will go ahead and get our heal on. So if you do like the lighter armors or don't want to commit to a heavy armor, which basically in this game all the heavy armors have poise, and then all the lighter armors have 0 poise, so each thing has its little trade-off, is that, you know, you can move faster, swifter, quieter, However, you won't be able to, you know, keep attacking while taking blows. But then again, if you're also a lightweight character, you're not going to want to be taking blows to begin with. So, you know, depends on your playstyle. Again, I normally play with heavy armor, and I just realized that I've never played with this Dusk set, and since I'm a female, that will look very nice. Here we're back up to the area that we were before, so we technically want to go straight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to curve off to the left here, and if you follow this left wall, you can find a little secret hidden passage here with a snake on it, on the tree bark. So I'm just going to go straight balls to the wall and attack it, and this guy will try to ambush you from behind. Now there you can see the snake actually nearly poisoned me, and that snake thing can drop you something. It's not very useful, so I'll wait until I find one. But here you get a very interesting item, which if you like the spear weapons, but don't like the fact that none of them have sweeping attacks, this partisan is your savior, is that it does thrusting damage, or if you use the R2, you do have a sweeping attack with it. So if you're a big fan of the spear class, that could be a good best friend weapon to you, or just a nice little sidearm, so that when you need a sweeping attack, you're not forced into these, you're not forced into these committed, straight, narrow attacks. Because as you can see, even the R2s on that give off nice sweeping attacks. Well, since we now know that these giants activate when you get too close to them, we're going to start proccing them on purpose. And there you can see he's using the Tranquil Walk of Peace right off the bat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save up some of my stamina, because I did not injure him as much as I would have liked to. Come on, one more. There we go. Thankfully enough, these guys look like they only had about 200 health, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I'm going to cut down these bushes just so that I have more visibility on what I'm doing. Because here is a cute little trap, again, is that you walk too close, and some of these things will activate. We're just going to roll out of the way, because there we have the giant. And here you're going to want to use the trees as much as you can to your advantage. You do not want to be struck by this guy, because that sword, you can actually get them if you have enough humanity, or enough item find, I guess I should say. But it does require 40 strength to wield that. And there goes the Tranquil Walk of Peace. Pick up that item to let my stamina recover. And here's where these guys become very, very formidable. And so what I'm trying to do is just kite him as much as possible, just like I did on those golems. And as you can see, the Tranquil Walk of Peace does not last forever. Now, something very unique about that, even though that's a miracle, and you saw him cast it with a sword, that sword of his actually has that miracle built into its R2 attack. So if you're wondering how he's casting that without a miracle, sometimes you just want to do a little bit of farming. There we get the Elite Knight set, which if you're playing online, I've been told has been... Oh, wow. Wow, that hurt a lot. Oh no, I can't roll backwards! Okay, that hurt much more than I expected, so we're going to heal. Alright, I'll take that blow. That's fine. And I believe the way that Tranquil Walk of Peace works is that it works as an area of effect to the caster. Oh no. Of course, I couldn't walk around a little tiny tree. And here I'm trying to use my enemies' speeds against them, because obviously the stone giant does not walk as fast, except for when he's doing those giant lunging attacks, compared to this bush person. So I'm just kiting them out, trying to give myself enough time to kill him, and to be rolling out of the way safely. Oh no, he put a shield up. You can also get that shield of his, which... Oh shoot. That was luck. I don't know how this game decided that that would not strike me. But I'm very thankful. Thank you, Dark Souls, for giving me a bone. Now, normally you wouldn't want to fight him in this narrow little corridor, but because of his attack pattern, he always takes a step forward when he swings that sword. So I'm actually using that to my advantage, because that is a strictly on these giants things. When you're actually using that sword, you don't always take such a huge step forward with it. But we get the Elite Knight set, which used to be better than the Knight set. However, it's been nerfed since then. So as you can see, some of those stats go up. Just pause and compare at your own leisure. But the Knight set basically is now slightly better, or at least has more poise. So therefore, I like the Knight set better. But the Elite Knight set looks really cool, and it's kind of a throwback to Demon Souls. So anybody who's playing Demon Souls, you'll know what I'm talking about instantly. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to now go get that Elite Knight set just to play with it. And this is the guy I was looking for. Now notice that I'll two-hand my attack, especially when I'm behind him. I'm actually hoping that my cut will proc my bleed attack. Oh shoot. I just tried to roll. There we go. And I'm not sure if anybody's also noticing, but when I'm fighting these giant guards, I'm only holding up my shield when their attack is coming down on me, and that is because your stamina does recharge slower. Let's see if I can show it off. Your stamina recharges much slower while you're holding up your shield. So I'm letting off my shield, and then just as the blow is about to hit me, I'm pulling up and holding my block. That way I can resist the damage from them. Now, actually, I don't know how these snake things attack. I've never let them live very long. But as you can see, circle strafing, all powerful. Alright, so that's actually all the treasures in this zone. And there's one last enemy for us to fight, which is here. Nice 100 damage off on him. 142. I've not been paying attention to my strikes. Another 42 is 182. So yep, I'm calling this guy at 200 health. And I'm trapped up against a rock. There we go. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So ladies and gentlemen, next time is the boss. So thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time to see what the boss is like. Ta-ta.